Okay, so let me invite Andromeda Flame. Let me share the live. Please share the live. This is really important, you guys. If you're really on a twin flame journey, I mean really, then this is important. Every single nuance of our incarnations and the fuckery of the 1% and the divide and conquer agenda is creating the separation of runner, chaser, mostly runner. So I want you to pay attention. Andromeda Flame is going to introduce herself. She's going to share with you what's going on in London. There is a race right going on, the divide and conquer, and the domino effect is poised. The universe is holding its fucking breath, asking us what we're going to do about this. Because the last time we had, thank you, my love, Jennifer. Thank you, sister, for sharing the live. The last time we had a race right was the Rodney King beating, when flip phones were la rigueur. And somehow, this was the first video that showed the brutality of cops. By the way, those cops being trained and is not real. Just on the side note, before that, they were being trained in the South. Just to give you some like history of the fuckery of the way cops are trained. And the good cops quit within, this is known, this is data. Good cops, good men, good women quit within 5 years. They quit. Because they can't be part of that fucking shit. So after the Black Panther came out and were destroyed in the late 60s, early 70s, right? When they were completely decimated. I met one of the Black Panthers. When I was a kid, I was like 20. In San Francisco. But anyway, the point is, they were importing cops from the deep South, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, blah, blah. So here we have a situation where race is being used, because it's easier to figure out who's who, right? Oh, I could give you a history of what happened with the Germans and how the Germans who were Nazi treated as compared to the black GIs, the pilots, the Tuskegee Airmen, and how trains that were pulling up were leaving black GIs with purple hearts behind and letting these men, these German Nazi, on first class and taking preference over those traitors over the black men and women, mostly black men, who had served this country. There's a history. We're on a domino. So I'm waiting for Andromeda to share, to come on. So this is going to be a very spiritual moment, though you might think, well, this is not a twin flame concern. Yes, it is. Watch Braveheart. Same bullshit, different timeline. Watch Rob Roy. I've given you the homework. Do the fucking homework if you want to fucking win. Sorry. Yeah, I'm in my Kali energy. I'm definitely in my Kali energy today. So my beautiful sister, who is my beautiful, beautiful counterpart in her Kuan Yin, let me bring you up. Thank you for being who you are. I think we need you because I'm just in a rage. Go ahead, let's go. Flame, please give them your background, introduce yourself, your history, your beautiful culture. You're releasing somatic. Let me invite you again. Are you good? I'm crying. I'm going, God, this is so stupid. Why am I crying? Because you're somatically releasing shit you can't articulate. Some of it is from this life. Some of it is from those past lives. Okay, let's the guardians of the Akashic. What? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
That was weird. All right, let's go. Sorry, my love. I'm having like all kinds of things going on at once. Welcome, welcome. I'm so honored, as always, to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you. So this live was the idea for this live was birthed by Tony when I told her what was happening in the UK today, and many of us were sent home from work early because there were reports that there were going to be race riots at various locations in London. For those of you who don't know, London is an extremely multicultural melting pot. of people from all over the world. And recently, it doesn't really matter what has triggered this, because actually it's just all about dividing us, okay? But something happened, and this has resulted in one particular racist organisation in the UK calling their supporters for protests outside immigration centres, outside the premises of immigration lawyers, etc. And these have turned violent. There's been looting, and this has been going on for the past few days. Now, the big one that was planned turned out to be a bit of a damp squib. I think that the counter protest was so big and so peaceful that nothing really happened, but there was an enormous police presence. Closer to where I live in London, there is something happening, sirens all over the place, etc. But the point that we have to ask ourselves is, how do we respond to this? How do we respond energetically and spiritually to this? Because this is what we have been talking about for months now. Mm-hmm. The divide and conquer agenda. Fostering hate, suspicion, division. And it's all by design. It's all done with a very deliberate purpose of ensuring that we don't unite against the 1%. We don't rise up. We don't ascend. We don't become enlightened and awakened. Again, a lot of people will be materially harmed by all of this. Either they turned up thinking that they were doing what was best, what they were drawn to do as an anti-racist, and they turned up to a counter demonstration and were arrested, which will effectively ruin a lot of their prospects in the 3D. But more than that, it creates this energy of fear and division. And this is what we must resist. And as we go into the Lionsgate portal, which is now open, and we'll talk about that a bit more, because the numerology this year is really significant. As we go into the Lionsgate portal, we cannot be derailed or distracted by the agenda that is trying to stop us from manifesting abundance, a new earth, a better life for all. And it is for all, regardless of where you come from in the world, regardless of the colour of your skin, regardless. All that matters is that you have a good heart, that you're not living in fear, that you're living and walking with integrity, and you will be welcomed into the new earth. And it's up to us. It's up to us starseeds, but more than that, it's up to starseed twins to lead this ascension through our knowledge of what unconditional love actually feels like, through our knowledge of what 5D bliss actually feels like. Because those of us who know, those of us who have been with our twins, those of us who have been in union with our twins, know what 5D bliss feels like.
This moment is the moment where the universe, the galactic-like beings, whatever you want to call them, you want to call them galactic? Okay. You want to call them archangels, part of the galactic council of other beings from other realms, planets, whatever? Okay. Light beings. Okay, let's simplify it. Whatever you believe, they're holding their breath. and they're waiting for us to transmute this energy of racism, of divide and conquer. I love the 1%. They're so fucking, at this point now, you can actually map out their fucking steps. The insanity of their moves, because this situation that happened that caused the rift that is actually hitting Ireland and the UK, far worse shit was done. Far worse shit was done in Norway and Sweden and Denmark, and I can name countries, okay, from what they're accusing. Far worse. And I don't want to get graphic. But just like Black Lives Matter, where we were seeing Boston cops setting up bricks, this is on film. I'm not making this shit up. It's on footage. There were these people in a little apartment filming on their little phones going, holy fuck, what are they doing there? Wait, hang on. They're lining bricks? Yeah. So we're being played once again. Once again, we're being played. Because this scenario, I wonder, is it even true? Running Man, watch Running Man, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm sorry, guys. Some of these movies, I'm going to explain something to you about Gaia.com that I've always loved. Hollywood Reported. Watch Hollywood, I think it's called Hollywood Deconstructed or Hollywood, something like that. I forgot.
Hollywood Decoded. Yeah.
Thank you. Hollywood Decoded. Me and my twin, we watch every fucking episode. We thought these two guys were brilliant. I forgot their names. Brilliant. Because by spiritual law, if you're going to fuck someone over, you got to let them know. And by consent, it's kind of the old wives' tale, you know, the old witchy poo tale of if somebody knocks at the door and you don't know what it is, and you let them in, you're letting the devil in. You know, those old kind of like witchy poo tales. It's pretty much similar. If they release a movie that tells you what the fuckery they're about to do, like Matrix was a perfect example. That's why people call it a documentary, not a movie. Okay, just on a side note, just in case you have never heard that, it's called a documentary. Part 1, 2, and 3, and 4. I think there's a 4 because they have to. It's a spiritual law. It's a universal God. It's God's law. Universe, God, source, power, whatever you want to call him. Muhammad, whatever you want to call him. Allah, Ra, God, whatever, Krishna. You have to actually tell people that you're about to fuck them over. And if they do nothing, it's called consent. Consent by default. If you go to court, I'm going to give you a very simple example. If you go to court to fight a traffic ticket, and the cop who gave you the ticket doesn't show up, you've won the case by default. There you go. There's the example. So we are now at a pinnacle point. It's a crossroad moment in 2024. Tomorrow is 888. Now, 8 is a fucked up number. It's a karmic number. I don't care. Oh, I love 8. It's the infinity knot. No, it's a fucked up karmic number. You're coming back to pay karma for yourself or others, or you and others. But 888 is 24. And in Kabbalah numerology, it is actually the number of love, money, or love, creativity, and power. It transmutes into 6. Now, in tarot, 6 is a choice. It's called the lovers. But 6 is love. It's what source created us from. Love, curiosity, desire, love. So tomorrow is a massive, it's from, of all the lion gates, and I would have to do 100 years of numerology to figure out if this is like the most important year. I'm sure it's not in 100 years, but let's say maybe, am I accurate within 50 years? I mean, pull out your calculators and do 50 years if you want to. This is it. 888, because 8, 8, 20, 24, 8. This is it. And remember I told you in some lives that we are at a crossroad moment, and this year defines the next 25 years. Next year is 9. 2025 is 9. Co-creation with the universe. Whatever the hell you want happens. So if you want Mad Max, enjoy. If you want the New Earth, enjoy. It's up to you. But this race war that is trying to be generated is a domino effect that quite often, what I've noticed throughout our timelines in the last, say, 40 years, is usually either the UK capitulates to something fucked, or America does. But either way, it's like a seesaw. They're linked. They're balanced. And if one does it, the other one does it. Do you understand? And on a side note, and I'm going to let you talk, I want to remember that I feel when we saw these, how do I put this without sounding like I'm, yeah, these guys that were masked that walked through the streets deciding to flex their power, their cops, firemen, mayors, governors, all that shit. These guys that were masked with the glasses and that, because they're cowards. I wouldn't be surprised if they sent some of their little henchmen to the UK and Ireland to start these bullshit movements. Oh, that's a conspiracy. No, it's not. Listen, just look at the last 100 years of this country right here, the US, and then tell me how many conspiracies have been shown to be true. Let's stop with this fear. Conspiracy theorists, you're a conspiracy. Stop. Just stop. Just look at, just like add 2 + 2 = 4. Oh my God, there's a pattern here. Oh my God. I'm sorry. Take it away, my love.
Yeah, I mean, let's stop with this idea that it's a conspiracy. As soon as the documents are declassified,
Yeah.
right, we realize that it wasn't a conspiracy. And I think the JFK documents still aren't going to be declassified for another, 23 years.
Isn't it in 23, right? Well, which is Mercury, which is communication. John, his son, John, which they had to, help him out of his body, to put it that way, because I'm not going to use that word unalive, help him out of his body. He was using George magazine to go, and he was getting connections of the ass, and he was finding out what had happened to not just his father, but his uncle. And he was going to expose him. And he was also going to be a massive contender in the presidential election. You and I both know that would have been Camelot points, point 1,000, right? Which with his beautiful wife.
Yeah, and let's think about this portal at the moment, because we can look at what's going on all around us, the seeming chaos of what's going on around us, and actually decide to view it as nothing more than an agenda that is being used to keep the asleep.
Yes.
But we are not asleep. And we can visualize and co-create a new earth. And so we focus on what we do want, not what we don't want.
Amen.
We don't want their bullshit. We don't want their division. We don't want their hate. We don't want their fear. We want a new earth with 5D consciousness, unconditional love, abundance for all, wisdom, enlightenment, and peace. And this is what we have been banging this drum over and over and over again. All right. But this is what we're talking about. And it's not woo-woo, and it's not impossible. It's coming. And people have been telling you that it's been coming.
That's right. It's been written thousands of years ago. And I just got the download that John and his wife were twin flames. That's why we see scenes of them fighting in Central Park. They're in union. And they were a power couple in a beautiful way. And I feel as if they were about to get into the twin ray dynamics when they were felled. That's the kind of history that you guys are living. That's why I tell people, watch Braveheart, watch Rob Roy, watch what was happening to Divine Masculine, because he was a Divine Masculine. She was a Divine Feminine. There's nothing wrong with fighting in Central Park. A lot of people do that. They go out of the apartment and fight outside the apartment so that it doesn't disturb the neighbor, so they can fucking just go at it. Just fucking go at it. The difference between you doing that and them is they were famous. That's a difference. And the trauma of how they passed, because there was a betrayal. Because I have a feeling Jackie O, Onassis, Jackie Kennedy, was told by a psychic, all great presidents have always had psychics and astrologers on the payroll. Just so you know. Somebody told her that he was going to die in a plane accident. Somebody told her. That's why she would not let him get his pilot's license. She would not. The minute she passed, he got it. And within a year, what was it, a year or two? He was dead. He was gone. So I'm going to tell you something. None of this shit is woohoo. We're seeing it in Technicolor. You've got front row seats. You got your ticket punched. Get your popcorn out. The shit's about to get real. And so you need to not be afraid, and you need to not second guess. And the problem with most average people is they'll run. They'll run for cover and prefer the old world to the new, because there is a price to the new world. It's a narrow hallway. It's like walking on fire. It's walking on coals. Have you ever seen these people? It was a big thing in the 80s and 90s to walk on coal. And people go, oh my God, I made it to the other side. Yeah, that's what we're going through, except you're walking on coal. You're walking on broken glass. You're walking on the old into the coolness of a new earth. There's a price, and you can't be afraid, right?
Yeah, and the price is leaving behind the old.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that you're going to have to leave behind everybody you love. That's not what we're saying. But you certainly have to leave behind the old ways of thinking, the old ways of viewing the earth, the old ways of viewing the challenges that face you, the old ways of viewing things like, financial struggles, for example. All right, well, how do you view financial struggles? Why are you struggling financially? Is this a challenge? Is this you being told that you need to start looking at things in a different way? Or is this you being told your current life is not working and you need to make big changes in order to successfully manifest abundance? Because remember, you can't successfully manifest if, firstly, you're not in the correct energy. Secondly, if you're doing it from a place of desperation and fear. And thirdly, most importantly, this is not done from a place of gratitude. And fourthly, ideally, this is a manifestation which will benefit the collective, not just you or others. So manifesting what you want at such an important portal is powerful. And by manifesting the new earth, by manifesting that consciousness, what we're doing is we're sticking two fingers up to these arseholes who are promoting this division, who are stoking fear. Because what is racism, right? Racism is fear and ignorance, and a toxic combination of them.
Yeah.
And by breaking through that energetically, we change the vibration and we stop this. There will be people who, through their free will continue to exist in this low vibration.
Yeah.
But we won't have to have anything to do with them.
Yes. Where's that? I don't know. Definitely. That's incredible. That's incredible because it says basically there's a scientific term, thought become matter. Thoughts become matter. And as you were talking, I opened my book, 369 Project, and I opened the Angelic Light Work. And I want to make sure that before we close out, that I read some paragraphs from both books because it is right on the mark. I was divinely guided to just open those pages. And I just wanted to know what it was, right? And I'm shocked. It's exactly what we're talking about. Any questions or comments from anyone out here? Do you have any questions or comments? Any questions or comments as to this race war? My father was talking about race wars in the 70s. He said they would actually set up a race war. And he thought he might see it in his lifetime, and thank God he did not. Do you understand how stupid this is? There are people that are so fucked up, they will use any excuse to do criminal acts against women, against children, using God, their scriptures, their whole, in quotation, holy book, to argue the point. Okay. Thank you so much, J.K. West. I appreciate the conversation. So we have to toggle between what is going on in 3D, 2D, reptilian consciousness, into 5D. And this is what they talked about. The end of the world as you know it is not the end of the world as you think. It is a new vibrational match to our consciousness of abundance, love, health, and wealth. What is wealth? Wisdom. Wisdom. What is wealth? Enough for everyone. What is wealth? An even distribution. What is wealth? Peace. I needed this. I've been on my spiritual journey for almost 2 years and I've manifested so much. Absolutely. When you go on your spiritual journey, you will manifest magic. Magic. Why are we afraid of that word magic? Why is it a woohoo word, magic? I don't mean pulling a rabbit out of a hat. I mean real magic. And Yeshua, as he walked the planet, Buddha, Yeshua, Krishna, when you see Krishna's, his pastimes, they call him his earthly pastimes. When you see Yeshua turning water into wine, taking one fish into many, things like that. And Buddha coming into the middle way, leaving his wealth. He was wealthy. He was a prince, Siddhartha, to find alignment, to find balance. All of them. See, there's this, they're all myths. They're all, no. They lived. It's okay to say they lived. It's okay to say they existed here on this planet when it was 6D, when it collapsed into 5D, and eventually, poor Yeshua, when he fucking collapsed to 3D. Okay, he's dealing with a lot of things. And if you look at some of the past, you'll see Andromeda Flame speaking about, reading a letter of Pontius Pilate about Yeshua. Yeshua would never be able to walk. It's funny. Oh, well, he's coming back. Yeah, coming back to what? You people with your nihilistic ideas and your racist views, and using a holy book that's been edited out. So much shit has been edited. It's actually blasphemous, to be honest. You want to use the word blasphemous? That's blasphemous. Taking all these holy scriptures, the Essenes running around through the hills of Egypt and the Sinai desert to hide shit because they knew these things would be burned, which, what happened, it did. And now finally all are rising from the ashes, right? All of this is rising from the ashes. May I read something to you all? Andromeda, may I read this?
Yes, please.
Okay. So I'm going to read to you this because it opened out of course I was looking for 888 and I found it, don't get me wrong. But 77721, Star of the Majin in Kabbalah. I am grateful for where I am in my life now and inspired what is entering my life. My growth is a continuous process that is leading me to my highest self. My journey is directing me to grow into the one I truly desire to be. I survived a lot and it made me a better person. I give myself credit for how powerful I truly am. I'm creating it all. My destination is here. I feel it. You don't currently see it happening, but I know you can feel it. As each day passes, you can feel your outer world conforming to your inner world. You can feel the spirit of harmony. You are allowing the divine bridge of incidents to pave the way to your destination through the flow of life with love and ease. Your faith is strengthening, your light is shining, and your consciousness is rising. That's from the book Project 369. That's why a lot of the copies is shit, and this is only the only book. And believe me, I'm not making money on this one. Let me continue. This is from the book by Angelic Light Work by Alana Fairchild. The second order are dominions. Dominions are said to wield the scepters and swords and wear a triple crown. These symbols indicate authority and strength of the spirit. What does that mean? The power of the inner spiritual light, even if we cannot see, feel, touch, or recognize it, is greater than the things that we can see, feel, touch, and recognize in the physical world. Shall I repeat that? I think I will. Because I need you to know your power. I need you to believe in your power. I need you to know the unspoken knowing. So let me read it again. Dominions are said to wield scepters and swords and wear a triple crown. These symbols indicate authority and strength of spirit. What does that mean? The power of the inner spiritual light, even if we cannot see, feel, touch, or recognize it, is greater than the things that we can see, feel, touch, and recognize in the physical world. That doesn't quite make sense at a logical level. The intellect tends to assume that the bigger something appears to be, the more real and powerful it is. Yet there are stories in numerous cultures of underdogs toppling bigger bullies, in heartwarming, inspiring tales of unexpected victory. Such stories continue to be shared in our modern film culture. Why is that? Those stories resonate with the human psyche. They are not just about feeling that we don't have to be victims to that which seems to oppress us. They are also stories about the impossible being made possible and about things happening unexpectedly in a good way. This is from the book Angelic Light Work, Alana Fairchild. That's why she's a badass oracle writer. Do you understand? You have it in your grasp. You have it, but your self-worth is so in the toilet that you will flush away your power, and one by one you will literally go out to sea. And we as the collective, we who are holding this light, will be bereft without your power. We need you. Don't you understand? We need you. We need every drop of your power. We can't do it without you. Unfortunately, honey, babies, my beautiful brothers and sisters, if we could do it without you, I would not be spending my time on these fucking lives. Do you think I'm making a dime off this shit? What, maybe 2 cents, 3 cents? Thank you for the roses, but really, I'm not doing it for the money, clearly. I'm doing it because I want this for my son. I want that for his grandchildren. I thought I was misspeaking. No.